Paul here at Bug Crack Cycles. We've got, I think will be a informative episode today. We're doing a carb rebuild on this. This is an S&S Super B, says it right there on the side, cast right into it, Super B. I've heard these referred to as the modern Linkerts, and in many ways they are. I've done some rebuild videos on this channel before. I've done CV rebuild, I've done a Super E rebuild, but I've never actually done a Super B rebuild. These are very simple carbs. They're real popular on the big twin Harleys, especially the old panhead, shovelhead kind of stuff. They are, like I said, just kind of dirt simple, very reliable. Not much to go wrong with them. This one's actually really not in very bad shape. It probably would run the way it sits now, but we're going to put an actual S&S master rebuild kit through it. I'll show you how to rebuild one of these carburetors. And actually, this carb is going to belong to one of y'all at the end of this episode. I say the end of this episode, shortly after the end of this episode. I'm going to do a little mini raffle on this carburetor. At the very end of this episode, I'll have the details on that. It'll be pretty cheap, pretty low number of ticket entries, and yeah, I've been having fun kind of raffling some stuff off here on the channel occasionally. We've raffled a bike, we've raffled a Super E, and I figured I would raffle this off. I got this at a pretty good deal, and so I'm going to be able to pay back for what I paid for the carb, pay for the carb kit, and pay myself for like an hour of my time. And this will still end up being a pretty cheap carburetor. Ready to go, ready to bolt on to your old shovelhead or whatever you put it on. So, without any further ado, let's get into it. Super B rebuild. Let's go.
So the first thing that we have to do is make sure that we have a nice clean carburetor. You can't just go putting a rebuild kit into a dirty carb. So I dump the old junk out of the ultrasonic cleaner, clean it out, and make a new pot of soup. This is just kind of my concoction that I use. It's water, Evaporust, and Purple Power. I don't know how I came up with it, but it does seem to work. So now we can take the dirty carburetor and take it apart. We're going to start with just pulling the bowl off. Normally there's 4 bolts in the bottom of the bowl, but this carb was missing them. And then we're going to yank the rubber seal out of the carburetor inlet flange. Basically, we need to just strip this down to its barest components. So we'll be left with just the main body and the bowl, and then all of the other components will be loose. So we need to separate the main jet from the jet holder. Sometimes these things get really stuck in there. You can see I couldn't get it with a screwdriver. S&S does sell a main jet tool. I probably should buy one for as many of these carbs as I do. But I have found that a screwdriver socket put in like a little 3/8 hand ratchet like what I'm using here with a wrench as a backup is usually sufficient to get one of these jets out when they're stuck, and it worked on this one. Then we can take the main jet holder out of the carburetor main body and just place it off to the side and go for the idle jet next. So that's what I'm taking out in this shot with the screwdriver is your slow speed jet, idle jet, pilot jet, whatever you want to call it. We'll throw away the air cleaner gasket and then flip the carburetor over and take the idle mixture needle screw out and just unscrews by hand. We can just put that off to the side. There's a spring underneath it as well. You can throw it away because you'll get a new one in your rebuild kit. And then we can pull the enricher out of the top of the carburetor. Sometimes these enricher valves get really, really gross. This one actually wasn't too bad. I'm about to hold it up to the camera to get kind of a close-up on it, but I don't know what it is about the enricher valves on the S&S carb. Sometimes they'll just get absolutely like lacquered and varnished. Next up, we are going for the throttle plate. Before we do that, I go ahead and pull the return spring off the throttle shaft, and then we can take the 2 screws that hold the throttle plate into the throttle shaft out. Just throw those away because you'll get new ones. In fact, everything here is getting thrown away from this assembly. Once your screws are out, you can pull the throttle plate out of the throttle shaft, throw it away, and then we can slide the throttle shaft out of the other side of the carburetor. So this basically gets us down to a bare main body of the carb. So you can see I'm turning it over and showing that we have removed every component from it and we can just place it aside. Next, we need to separate the throttle shaft from the actual cable linkage. It's just one screw that acts as a lock or a clamp. So take that out and then throw the throttle shaft away. You don't need it. The rebuild kit will include a new throttle shaft. This is how I take most of the seats out of these carburetors. They tend to really get stuck in there, so a 5/8 socket with a little small electric impact gun knocks the seat out pretty good. Next, we got to get our float assembly out, which also includes our needle valve. It's just a pin that screws in through the side of the carburetor bowl. Very straightforward. There are two different styles of floats and therefore two different style of needle valves for these Super B carbs, but I will show that a little later in the video. So here we have everything all disassembled on the workbench. Most of this is going to go in the ultrasonic cleaner. Some of this is just going in the trash can. So we're going to put the main body of the carburetor into the ultrasonic cleaner and the float bowl, and then all of our little small pieces, so the jet holders, etc. You can clean everything you took out, but it's kind of a waste. Anyways, a few cycles through the ultrasonic cleaner and we have a nice clean carburetor. Full disclosure, this carb also got bead blasted, which is part of why it looks so great. I will show that a little later in the video, but we gotta have a clean carb. So ultrasonic, bead blast, and then back through the ultrasonic, then hose out all the orifices and passages with brake clean and spray through them with compressed air, and then dry it all off with compressed air. And then you can see all of our small pieces here are nice and clean and shiny and ready to go back in the carb. Some of this stuff like the seat and the float pin won't get reused, but I clean them anyways and just add them to my spare parts pile. So with everything on the workbench, we can get our rebuild kit. I'm taking the time to show this so you can see the part number if you need to order one for your carburetor. This is an actual S&S kit and it is the full master rebuild kit. Don't buy anything else. Here's the little bead blaster as well. It's from Harbor Freight. It's cheap, but man, it worked really good. This carburetor came out beautifully. So with the rebuild kit on the workbench next to our carb, we can open it up and get started putting this thing back together. As you can see, this is a really simple carburetor. It didn't take long to take apart, doesn't take long to put back together. I've got about an hour or so in cleaning and disassembling and rebuilding this carb total. So pretty easy carb to do if you're just doing a carburetor for the first time. So we put the main jet holder in the body, snug it down, put our main jet back in, snug it down. Then we will get our idle jet, slow speed jet, whatever you want to call it. We're going to screw it back into the main body of the carburetor as well, and same thing, just snug it down. You don't have to kill any of this stuff. You don't have to really get it super gorilla fisted tight. Just snug it is plenty. Next up, we can put our throttle shaft in. The throttle shaft only goes one way. The slot in the end of the throttle shaft is there by my right thumb, the one with the smash on it. And that is the side of the carburetor it goes in. The throttle shaft also has two square cutouts in it for your throttle shaft screws, and those need to face out. Out meaning towards the inlet side. So we can slide our throttle plate into the throttle shaft, and now we're ready to put our new throttle plate screws in. They're pretty small screws, easy to drop, so be careful with them. And you don't want these going down your engine, so I always put blue Loctite on them. I don't necessarily know that it says to do this in any manual, but it's just something that I do, and it doesn't make them too terribly hard to get back out later, but I think it's just some good peace of mind and insurance. So we'll tighten those up, and now we have one functional throttle shaft, but we need to put a return spring in it. The return spring is something that kind of gives people trouble, but you can see what I'm doing here. I've got like a shepherd's hook pick, and I'm able to just grab it and wrap it around and put it in its little hole, and then you can take a little pocket screwdriver and pop it into place, and when it is installed correctly, it should look just like this. So start the spring down in the throttle shaft and then hook it around, and then you will have a functional return spring. So now we can add the throttle linkage back to the shaft. This one was missing one of the E-clips for one of the cable clamps. We'll add that later, but you just put the throttle linkage over the shaft and then put your locking bolt through it, which clamps it onto the shaft. That's the only way it's held on there, is just the force of the clamp. So tighten that screw down pretty good, and you now have a functional throttle shaft assembly. That basically wraps up the main body for now, so we can put it off to the side, and then we can install our new fuel inlet, which is also your seat for the needle valve underneath the float. So screw it in by hand and then just snug it down. Again, it doesn't have to be super tight. Here are the two needle valves that come in the rebuild kit. There's two of them because there are two different floats that can be in a Super B. The valve that you pick then has to correspond with the correct float, and here's a diagram showing it. There's a type C and a type B. This carburetor has the B, so that is the corresponding needle valve that we use. So you just drop it into place, make sure the needle goes into the seat, and then you can put your new float pin in. It can sometimes be tricky getting the float pin through the second hole of the float, but it helps if you turn the carburetor slightly on its side and just pick the float up. So align all of that, tighten it down, and then we want to just make sure that the needle moves up and down smoothly within the seat, and then we need to double check the float height, which we do by flipping the carburetor upside down and measuring from the float bowl gasket surface to the float, 1/8 of an inch for solid mounted engines, 1/32 of an inch for rubber mounts. Now we can install the main body gasket. It has a cutout that goes around a hump. It's pretty self-evident which way it goes. Then we can marry the main body to the float bowl and install our 4 new float bowl screws and tighten them down. Just do it in an X pattern as if you were putting a lug nut on a car so that the float bowl is tightened evenly to the main body. So with that done, we're gonna reinstall our air fuel mixture screw with a new spring underneath. We'll lightly seat it and then back it out 1.5 turns. This is a good starting point for most engines as far as air fuel mixture is concerned on the idle circuit. Then we're gonna tighten down our enricher after putting that back in, flip the carburetor back over, put the inlet manifold O-ring in, and just run your fingers around it to seat it down inside of its groove. And we're almost done with this thing. Put a new E-clip there on our cable clamp on the other side of that throttle shaft. That way, if you want to run dual throttle cables, you can. And then we need to set the idle speed. So we're going to just lightly touch the screw down, and after it touches down, go around 1/2 a turn, 3/4 of a turn. It'll get you close enough that the bike will run. So there's our backing plate. It's been bead blasted also. There's the carburetor out in the sun. You can see how nice it looks, and we're sitting on the air cleaner. And here's Kenny with the raffle details. All right, you ready, Kenneth?
Yeah.
Okay, Kenneth's out here, and he's got the carburetor. So we're all done rebuilding it, and we've got the raffle details. So Kenneth, when will the raffle go live?
July 15th, 7 p.m. Eastern Time.
Yep, so July 15th, 2026. Can you stop spinning that chair? 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Raffle tickets for the Super B will go live on the website, buttcrackcycles.com. We're doing, I'll turn the camera around. We are doing 90 tickets at $5 a piece. Shipping is included. This is only open to US buyers. Sorry for all my international viewers. It's just too much of a headache trying to deal with international shipping. So $5 a piece, 90 tickets. July 15th, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, buttcrackcycles.com, and just look for the Super B raffle. Then I will draw the winner live. I'll do a live stream a week or so after all of the raffle tickets sell out, and we'll find out who wins this carburetor. I think probably the tickets are going to sell fairly quickly. Maybe not. I don't know. I sold a Super E. I did a Super E carb raffle at the start of this year, and those tickets sold pretty quick. I think I sold that raffle out in about a day and a half. Maybe the B isn't as desirable as a carb, I don't know. So that's that. That's all the raffle details. Look forward to seeing where this goes. Y'all have fun. It's fun doing these little raffles. So I'm gonna turn the camera back around to Kenny, and he's gonna show you all the carburetor one last time and close this episode out. Kenneth?
Carburetor, bye.
See ya.